Hello and welcome back to the Let's Glow Show. It's Amanda Sweet, the Creative Fairy Godmother, and we're back with another super dope person. This week is so exciting. So, this beautiful young lady, I saw her. I caught her in my eye while I was on stage hosting the Michigan Fashion Week Streetwear Show, and she's just smiling at me and like oozing all this beautiful energy. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. On stage, I'm like, you're mine, basically. And that's how we became friends. So this is the amazing uh, multi-business owner, boutique owner, podcast host, founder of empowHER Conference, Demiree. If I had like audience, like I would, yeah, round of applause, round of applause. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. What a little introduction. Yeah, it was Fashion Week, wasn't it? It was so funny because you're like, you walk, let's go. You need to
Get up.
I'm like, me? What?
And you were like, yes, absolutely. You were like, it was like one moment you were like, and you were like, okay, never mind.
As soon as I stood up, I was like, yeah, we should just do this.
This is where you should be. Yes, absolutely. Awesome. Well, tell everybody about yourself, all of the titles that you have. Fiance, mama, founder.
This is a long, I'll make it in like the condensed paraphrase.
No, give it all to me.
Right? Because like,
whole milk.
like anytime someone asks me that question, I'm like, how much time do you have?
We got the time.
Right.
This is what we're here for.
You're right. And you do so many things too. So I'm sure you're so used to it. But my first was I started my first business called Ruboo Boutique, which is a women's clothing store. I had that in Port Huron, Michigan for 5 years, and then I recently closed it 2 Aprils ago now. And I was dabbling in the idea with podcasting, and I also liked hosting like women's events at my boutique, like Galentine's events and pop-ups and having all of these things happen. And then when I closed my storefront and didn't have a physical location anymore, I'm like, I got to come up with something that I can continue to have those things, because that was a huge reason of why I loved owning my business. Obviously, I needed a reason to have a shopping addiction so that I could justify all the clothing purchases I was making. So it's like, we'll make it a business.
Right.
But right, as one does. So I missed the connection of in person, and also just being able to connect with people or my customers or my clients or relationships I had made. So I had thrown around this idea of making this like pop-up of a girl's day out, essentially. Here comes my dog. Hi, Kaiser.
Hi.
And so, he likes to join my calls all the time in my office.
I love it.
So I wanted to have that pop-up like feeling still for me, because that was a huge reason, like I said, of why I loved my events. And so I played around with this idea of having this girls' night out, and we rented this huge ballroom, thinking like I'm going to have like my mom, my sister, maybe a few of my friends, and then my like solid 10 girls that have rotated in and out of my business, and go from there. And we not only had all 10 of those girls, but then we had other vendors of their friends like, hey, we'd like to come be a part of this. And then we had friends of friends hear about this. So this was something that I thought was going to be maybe 50 people, and it turned into 170 in 2 weeks. So I was like, oh, wow, like this is needed. And girls obviously like this as much as I do, because I just want to be with all my girlfriends at all times doing all the hype things. And I was like, okay. And so then I had someone be like, are you going to have a speaker? Like, who's speaking at this? And I'm like, me. I'm like, oh my God, I've got an amazing lineup. No clue. I was like, no idea. So I reached out to a few of my friends who are public speakers and threw together this event. And I was like, I feel like it needs a name. And I was like, I'm going to name it empowHER, because it's mainly for women. It's about positivity. You don't need to be a mom or a business owner or married. You can be any person at any stage of your life, whether you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing or you're still trying to figure your shit out. So that was the whole point of it. And then we had women at the event like, are you going to do this next month? And I'm like, no, because it's a lot of planning, but I will do it next year. And then that was fast forward last year. So a little bit, like I said, from my boutique, like stemmed this empowerment of wanting to hear women's stories for my podcast and wanting to have this event where women could feel seen, inspired, motivated from this one business that I started. And obviously the side hats, like you had said, I recently just got engaged. I have a 6-year-old son. And I am a huge, not that I endorse it, but I'm a huge like divorce advocate on not being afraid to leave something that doesn't serve you anymore, regardless if you have children, regardless if you've been with them for pretty much your whole life. What's best for you in order to have the life that you want. So I really speak a lot about that on my podcast, regardless if it's toxic relationships with a partner or friends or family, or yourself, really, right? Like leaving that toxicity behind. So that's a little bit about all that I do. And
I love it.
I could give you.
That's beautiful. I love it. I'm like, I have so many questions about so many things, but I just want to like touch on the topic that you just talked about, because I talk about it a lot too. I've been telling my story, my abuse story. I was in 2 abusive relationships back to back, like starting in high school through college. And like, I'm all about like, let's cut it, and obviously it's different having a child, being married, and all of that stuff. But it sounds like universally you're like willing to walk away from things. And there's a lot of people that have like stipulations, like I made a commitment, I got a boutique, I got a brick and mortar, I'm going to stick with it until the day that I die, know? And so like, does that just come from you intrinsically? Is that something that you had to learn to like walk away from things that no longer serve you?
I think it was something that I had to learn. I didn't really have that growing up. Like my mom has been in similar situations. My mom's one of the most strongest people I've ever met in my entire life. And she's like the best. But I think it's definitely something that I had to learn, of seeing my mom go through it and be like, not even abusive relationships, just be with people who don't appreciate her, and be like, see her so now, like she's happy. Obviously she, like me and my son are her life, but like that's it. And so I'm like, I love my mom, but I don't want that to be my life, like of not walking away from things or realizing I deserve better at an older age. Like, why can't I do that now? And when I was younger, it's different when you're in the situation, because you're like, nobody gets it. Nobody understands how in love I am with this person. Like, you don't get it. And I'm like, girlfriend, I get it. It was high school sweetheart, like cheating after cheating. I opened business with this man. I stayed and had a child with him. It doesn't get better. And while I'm so grateful that I obviously got my son out of the whole experience, it's like, it's not worth losing yourself, allowing somebody to pretty much convince you that you're trash, like that you're worthless, you're not going to be successful. And it makes me really sad when I see women or men. I have men that also listen to my podcast that are in similar situations with their partner. And it's like, it makes me sad that people don't have the willpower to believe in themselves. And
I think that's where it comes from. And you said something earlier, you were saying like toxic relationships with yourself. And I feel like that's what it is. At the end of the day, like when I was in those toxic relationships, it was more toxic internally for me to have a relationship with myself. So I found external toxic relationships to fill a gap and make my life easier than it was internally. So I had to do the work to realize that, like, wait, the most toxic relationship I have is with me. It's me with me. And that's the hardest part, is like, oh, it's not this person or this thing or this job or this boss. It's this thing and this thing not meeting in the middle. And it's a hard lesson to learn. But from the outside looking in, it's like, just leave.
Exactly. It's you willingly letting people treat you the way you're allowing them. Like, you get what you receive. So if I'm sitting here and I'm allowing somebody to talk to me like trash and convince me, that's my own fault. And that's a really uncomfortable conversation that you have to have, because as human beings, we love to like not blame other people, but that's the easy way out, right? We want to say, no, he did this, or she did this, or they did this, or whatever it is, right? Of who, instead of saying no, because I have conversations with Evan all the time, who is night and day from my ex. Like, people meet him and they're like, you couldn't have found somebody more complete opposite in the best way possible. But like, I tell him stories of certain things and his jaw is on the floor. He's like, you let him do that? He's like, I can't
this doesn't even
you doing that now. And I'm like, that's because I actually like myself now.
Right.
And I would never let somebody even breathe that type of direction towards me, let alone have a conversation and live with that person. So it's like, you really have to have that uncomfortable conversation with, am I happy in my life? It's not other people's fault. It's my own fault for staying here and allowing myself to let people treat me this way.
Right.
It's really all it is.
It's so much. It's easy, but it's not simple. Is what my husband likes to say, and he's literally the same way. Like the exact opposite person from my former exes. Like just like kind and sweet and quiet. And so when I have my trigger moments, which I have a lot of them, and I'm like working through them and seeing a coach and seeing a therapist about like, why am I having these triggers? Where did they come from? He's just, when I tell him why, he's like, that happened. Like, is that even a thing? Like, I don't see like Amanda Sweet and like abuse going together, but I'm like, I wasn't who I am now then, you know, like
I'd be
I
sitting
had to
at
go
lunch.
through.
Yeah. You'd sit, if I saw old me at lunch and I'm sitting here listening to her have a conversation, I'd take a water and throw it in her face, be like, wake up. Like, what are you doing? So it's just, it's funny because you look at pictures or you think about situations or eras of your life and you're like, I can't believe I did that or allowed that.
But it's gotten you here.
Yeah.
And that's like a huge, I mean, obviously you have a soft spot for women and empowerment and making women feel beautiful and seen and heard and valued. And I feel like, and I'm in a similar boat where I'm like, I'm all about the girlies. Like, I'm here for the girlies. I love them. I'm here for it. Like, everything that I do is like, obviously, we're here for the men and like everybody in between. But like, I have a soft spot because I've been there.
Right.
And I'm like, this is where we can go. So so now you're a business owner, a multi-business owner, podcast host. Like, tell me about that entrepreneurial journey. Like, how did you go from being in this crazy, like, I don't know, were you it sounds like you were in business with your ex as well. So have you always been like, I'm going to own my own shit and I'm going to be.
I knew that I eventually wanted to be my own boss of some sort. Not that I had any type of management that was horrible where I'm like, I'm going to show you, right? Like, I just always knew that the life that I wanted, I never wanted a life that would make me, and nothing against to the career girlies, right? Like nothing, but for me, I just didn't want to feel capped. I didn't want to feel like I'm going to make this amount and I can't go over it, because I believe that like the work you give out should be reciprocated in your income, regardless if that's bonuses, X, Y, and Z. So I've always been in like sales because I love to talk. Like, and I like talking to people and making, you know, and connecting with people. But I also like that mentality of like, I can always make more if I put more effort in, which is a good and a bad thing, right? Because of entrepreneurship. But so there's like, okay, I want to go the safe route and have a steady income and always have, you know, money, whereas entrepreneurship isn't always like that. But I just knew I always wanted to be my own boss of some sort, of owning something or running something. That way, if I end up having a family, I could have a passive income and be able to make it to the soccer games and the school plays and the school Valentine's parties, because my mom was always there for me. So I had friends that had parents that couldn't do that for their kids or couldn't come to all the field trips. And I'm like, I don't want to miss out on those things. So that was a huge reason why I wanted to start a business, is because I wanted to make my own money and have passive income and not be capped. But I also wanted to have like fluidity and like free space to be able to go do and see the things that I wanted to see in my life. So just always when I start a business or start an idea, I'm like, I start something and then I'm like, oh, but I could do this too. And I'm like all over the place. And luckily Evan has been like, bring it back in. Okay. You want to do all the things? So baby, you got like 7 things going on right now. And I know they're great, but like you mentally can't do more things.
Right. So how do you balance that? Because I have a similar problem where I'm like, okay, we're going to do all of it. Or I'm like a all or nothing kind of girly. I'm like, we're going to do all of it, or I'm just going to like take a break. We're just gonna take a break. So how do you manage that like ferocious energy to like start, and then also maintain and make a living off of it?
So I think it really helps. And I think this sounds so corny anytime I say this, but like I genuinely love doing every single thing that I do. Like I love owning a clothing store because I like clothing and I love fashion. I like podcasting because I love talking and sharing stories. I love women empowerment groups. So I think the first thing is make sure you're doing something that you genuinely like doing, because that will really burn you out if you're like, oh, I got to do this. I got to client. I got to do this. And there are some parts that aren't going to be fun, like, tax season, all those fun things that,
But they just hire people to do.
Yeah, they do. But I had this conversation with my girlfriend. Her name's Dana, and she's amazing. And I asked her this question too, because she's a multifaceted. So now I steal her answer because it's such a good way to put it. And she's like, I hate the word balance. I just like to maintain, because if you put the word balance on it, I picture this woman at a restaurant carrying a tray with a milk plate on it. And she's running around, and it's no, just go to the kitchen and take a plate and then go back and forth. So it's not necessarily balancing it. It's just focusing your energy on the things that are important to you at that time. So right now, empowHER's starting in April. So I might not be working on everything for Ruboo. I'm full force in the planning of empowHER and doing the things that are important for that time. Am I still posting 1 or 2 things on Ruboo? Yeah, but I'm not 100% on Ruboo, 100% of the podcast, 100%, which I know a lot of entrepreneurs are you need to be all in or not. I will be overloaded and just be I need a break for a week. And then that's further.
Yeah, I don't believe I've said this before. I'll say it again. I'll stand on this hill. I'll die on it. I don't believe in balance, because balance is equal and opposite. I don't want balance. If I want to be whatever the case may be, if I'm taking plates out, I don't want to have to also take plates on this hand. Why can't I use both hands on one thing? Literally, that's a great analogy, because I'm just I don't understand. I can't 100% give to anything if I'm doing we are humans with multidimensional relationships that require us to be different people at different times.
Right.
And you can't be 100% all in all the time on everything. It's just impossible. So I'm a anti-balance kind of person. And I'm it just doesn't make sense. Not for me. And I'm glad I'm right here. But it's that entrepreneurial, I feel it's kind of men entrepreneurial speak, where it's go 100%, go all in. I'm just we don't function that way. It's just not us.
No, it's not. And I feel that's why a lot more women entrepreneurs are stepping forward, because it's they're finding a lot more success, because men are exhausted. Not all men. And again, I'm not a man hater. We love this for us, but you find that it's that man mentality that's grind, hustle, do the thing, 100%, and then there's have you ever seen that reel where it's Nicki Minaj is and it's now I'm spinning
I feel yeah.
It's this chaotic music, and it's somebody doing something crazy, oh my God, I can't find my thing. And then it's something super peaceful. That's what it is with men. Men are just oh my God. And then here's women just enjoying life.
Floating. Yes.
Figuring out that you don't need to be on 10 all the time. It's okay to not be. And a huge thing for women is that we love self-care and therapeutic work and connection. And that's what's helping us strive faster, while also keeping our mental capacity open, where men are just burnt out, tired, hustle. This. Yeah. And while they make it that success, it's are you enjoying it as much as we are? It might take us a little bit longer to get there, but we enjoyed the whole ride there.
Right. I feel what I'm hearing, I'm surrounded by entrepreneurs, and what I'm constantly hearing from women is, I'm an entrepreneur because corporate life burned me out and I want my flexibility.
Yeah.
And so they're I'm creating the work-life balance, which I've heard work-life harmony, that a job could never give me.
Yeah.
Because it's it's not men, but it's a masculine form of work. Yeah. And women are so cyclical. We have our cycles every 30 days. First week in the 30 days, we're this level of energy. Second week, we're next level. Third, we need rest.
Yeah.
And the corporate life just doesn't accommodate that.
No.
So
I get it. Do this on a schedule, and nothing can change, where I'm one day I want to wake up and I want to do nothing and I want to watch movies all day. But then the next day I'm going to make double the money. So it accounted for the money that I made yesterday, but I had a good mental health day because I'm fully embraced on today. Whereas like
Exactly.
the corporate life, I think, is trying a lot harder these days to have those like fun spaces and like
Right.
you know, connections, but it's not fully there of what you will experience
Right.
if you have your own business or you know you're doing your own thing. So but yeah, that's a huge thing that I see all the time. I have lots of women that reach out to me that are like, I want to start my own business or I want to find an extra stream of income to like have extra money.
Yeah.
We see on Instagram or TikTok or anything all the time of, I've started my course and I made $6,000 today. Click or comment me too to find out how. I'm like, it's millions of comments. And it's usually women that are like, I want to make $6,000 sitting in my sweatpants and for a living. So I think now more than ever, people want that flexibility, but it's also social. This is the era of social media. As much as people want to hate it, this is what it is. And I think it's made it very not easy or simple, but like it's more obtainable to have an extra source of income working from home or having something else on the side. So
how do you suggest somebody go about that? Like because I've been thinking about that a lot lately too. I just read a couple financial books and they're like, you know, we need to get the passive income going and here's a couple ways to do it. But like in my mind, I look up to you in a lot of ways. Like I've always wanted a boutique or a thrift store. But a lot of people are like, oh no, owning clothing and having all of this back stock and having like the brick and mortar and all of that stuff is like financial suicide and all like, so I'm torn, you know? And so I'm like, I want to do passive income. I want to be in the fashion space. I also want to be in the coaching space. So I see you and I'm like, hell yeah, I want to be you when I grow up. Like, how did you do it?
So again, I this is super corny, but it's the truth because I've coached people on this, but finding something that you generally like doing, because Evan, I use him as an example every single time, and I will again sit on the till and own it till I die. He's like, he saw these TikTok or Instagram videos of being an Amazon seller, finding these things on Alibaba for like super cheap, sending it to the Amazon warehouse and they ship it and you make triple the amount of money, whatever. He's like, I'm going to do that. I'm like, live your life. Like I'm about it. Like, I love this hustle mentality, baby. Like you got that 9-to-5 corporate. Here's him trying to make a side gig. And he's like, okay, so he goes to buy, I don't even remember. I think it was like a salad, those things that like dry salads for you, right? And he's like, they look like they're doing really good, so I'm gonna buy those. And I'm like, okay, but what's your reasoning of why you're buying them? He's like, because the results or the stock or whatever is, it looks really good. I'm like, okay, it never even ended up moving. I mean, it was like a $200 investment, so it was nothing. But I'm like, you weren't passionate about it. You don't care about. You're not passionate about being an Amazon seller. You're not passionate about salad spinners. You're not on your store. Hey guys, I got the best salad spinners, even though like they sell them at Costco, right? Like he's not passionate about it. And some people can get lucky and find something that they're not passionate about, but 9 times out of 10, it's gonna burn you physically down. So that's my number one thing when I coach people of what it is that you want to do. You specifically, you're like, I know that you've got the revamp and you want to have like a clothing spot. So I know you're passionate about that. So if you're passionate about it and you find a great location and you can justify like, okay, this is that, it's going to work because you're going to believe in it. You're going to drink, you're going to push it. You're going to convince people, because I'm not going to own a clothing store and have somebody walk in and be like, what should I buy? And you'd be like, nothing. Probably not. Like, I don't know. I don't really like it.
You should just go away. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, no, it's okay in here. Like, it's all right. But I'm like, oh, girl, come here. No, this would look really good on you without being too overzealous. And then that's how you like sell, like, because you're passionate about it. You believe in your product. Like, oh my God, this material, this material is so soft. And you're like, oh my God, I need that. But if you're like, oh, it's kind of itchy, you're not going to like it. They're going to be like, I'm buying this. So being definitely passionate about what it is that you're selling or wanting to do, like you like flipping houses and doing real estate and renting things. And that's a passive income. Are you cool with keeping up with that? Or you can even rent out something. Are you passionate about drop shipping in a certain product? Like you've got to be willing to stand with your product and be a face for it for at least the beginning portion of it until it can go on autopilot. Because if you can't believe in your product or sell your product to somebody, how do you expect anybody else to? So
Yeah.
I think that's like definitely the first step of having
Mhm.
passion of why you're doing it.
Mhm.
Again, no one's gonna be like, I love this house, you should rent it. But like
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're passionate about real estate and you're passionate about that, like
Yeah.
you're going to networking meetings like, oh my God, I have a property that I think you would love. It's great for you to rent. It's great for a family. Let me show you it.
Yeah.
You're passionate about what you have and what you're selling or what your service is doing to get people to buy it. So I think that
Right.
that's like a huge thing, because there's so many times where I walk into clothing stores specifically and I
Mhm.
walk out and I look at Evan and I'm like, because I support so many clothing stores, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
not like I'm only shopping at Ruboo Boutique.
Right. Right.
I'm shopping at all the places. And I
Yeah.
walk out of some places and I'm like, they should not own a business.
Yeah.
Or their girls should not be working there. Because there's
Right.
been times I'm like, hi, how are you? And they're like, good.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
like,
Exactly.
hi, I'm a walking easy $100 sale right now.
Right. Right. Right.
Easy. And
It's
just
like you I see that all the time, and I want to comment on something you just said. And I think that's what makes you successful. And this is probably what's making empowHER successful. This is probably what makes your boutique, your podcast, all of these things successful. You said, I don't just shop at Ruboo. I shop at all the stores. You're supporting local people. And Labrie says this to me all the time. He's like, you're just good at the peopling thing. He didn't realize that if you go to a small business and buy something from a small business, you make a friend. You become a
literally,
trusted source of revenue. You become a new client. You become a new sale. They're going to call you if they see something that you like. So it's not just about like, okay, we're just spending money. And it's not being like manipulative about spending money, but it's also being strategic. Like I say this all the time. I spend money on my friends' businesses.
yeah.
Because if I need a service, I'm not going to call some random person. If
Yeah.
the person sitting next to me that I know and trust and have a relationship with sells that product that I need,
Yeah.
it's going to build rapport. It's going to build community. It's going to like turn into something bigger. And he's like, you're constantly spending money on people. And he was like, at first I didn't get it, but now I get it. And I see you doing that, where you're creating a platform for people to sell their businesses, sell their services, products, all the things. And you're giving the other people that want to spend their money on these things and these people a space to do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's that community piece that people, I feel like when they think of a salesperson, they think, oh, they're just trying to get my money.
Yeah.
Or whatever that slimy feeling that I feel like that's what's slimy about sales. People that aren't committed to community.
Yeah.
There's two sides.
Yeah. And then they have like this negative energy where someone's like, oh, well, what about that? Oh, no, you shouldn't go there.
Right.
Like I'm the first person, when I had my business downtown, there was 3 clothing stores around me, different styles. One was almost identical style to me. We sold people, or we sent people back and forth like it was no job, because like I'm not gonna be offended if I don't have something that's not yours. Like I know how many stores that I shop at, but to find something. So if girls would be in my store and they're like, I'm trying to find this, I'm like, oh my God, you have to go to my passion. They're gonna have like the best peachy look that you're looking for. She actually has a really cute one right now. And it built this relationship. And even for empowHER or my business, as I was saying, like I loved having the women in as pop-ups and such, but empowHER especially, I stand on the stage every single year, this will be our 3rd year. And I feel like this.
That's every single year. Every single year.
I talk about it like to other people. I would never, ever, ever be where I am at today without the community and collaboration that I have with other women, business, men, anything. It would never be where I'm at. Obviously, a lot of it, like I know everyone's like, well, they come to your store for you. They listen to your podcast for you, and they come to empowHER because you, but I'm like, if it was just you walking in a room and I'm standing on stage like this, it wouldn't be as successful. And I'm sure I can entertain you for about 15 to 20 minutes. But after that, I'm like, it's not fun. It's like, I like going to lunch and sitting by myself sometimes and eating lunch by myself, but it's a lot more fun when you have 6 of your girlfriends catching up and talking about stuff. It's the same thing with business. It's like, it's fun alone. And there's times where I like to be like zoned in to like plan and such, but it's 10 times more fun and inspiring. I know like when I go to networking things and have people constantly around me, I leave those things and I'm like, I'm going to run through a brick wall. Like I can do anything. And it's the same thing with business. And you never know what path is going to meet you. Like a perfect example. I have been podcasting. I, on a whim, reached out to Lauren Hicks. I was like, hey, I'm Demiree. I love your style. I love what you're doing. I own a clothing store and I think I want to just come. I don't want to be a part of it. Like I want to have my clothes in here. I just want to come. Would you be up for collaborating and, you know, we'll work together and you can have people at empowHER? She's like, yeah, absolutely. I get front row to Michigan Fashion Week. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't expect this. I just thought I'd be able to just come inside. It's got a front row seat. I bring my best friend. I sit down. I see this beautiful angel in front of me that I'm talking to as the host. I'm like, I need to know her. I don't know what. And like, first thing my best friend says to me, she goes, she needs to be at empowHER. And I was like, yes. Literally the first words that came out of her mouth. And I was like, yeah, all off of collaborating and feeling like, oh, Michigan Fashion Week, and they didn't even think about having Ruboo Boutique. I don't design my clothes. Import my clothes. Like that was not my mentality at all. That was a thought in my mind. I was just like, I just want to come to support and share about it, and hopefully other people get to come to this because I think this is a really cool movement that she's doing, and it's so important in this generation. And from that, I met Lauren. I met this. The crochet bathing suit UB handmade or something.
Oh, yeah.
The swimsuits. I met her. Like there were so many people just from being like open to wanting to collaborate with other people and not feel like it's a threat. And just I would never be where I'm at without having those connections of people. So
how do you suggest someone going about opening up a conversation of collabing, like, and or doing business or partnering? How would you do it? How would you advise somebody to do it in a slick way? Not slick, but like in a way that's going to be successful and make everybody feel comfortable?
So definitely whoever you are approaching, if it's on social media, like if you're sliding in their DMs, make sure you're following them.
Yeah.
I've had so many influencers message my boutique and be like, I love your brand. I was just wondering if you'd send me free clothes and I would promote it. And I'm like, you love my brand, but you don't even follow us.
Right.
Anything. Like you're just looking
for engagement.
That's the first thing I look for. So definitely like if you're thinking about pitching to them, follow them, like engage with them, maybe buy one of their products and be like, I love this so much. It shows authenticity versus like you're just trying to get free shit of some sort or like free service, whatever it is. So definitely follow, engage, or like support it in a little way if you can, even if that's some way free. But then when you pitch to these brands or wanting to collab with them, let them know what this is going to do for their brand. Because so many times people are like, I could have easily messaged Lauren and been like, I want to come to Fashion Week because I think I'm going to put you guys on. And I think so many people are going to hear about it because I have such a good following versus, hey, I want to come and I want to take some pictures. And I think it'd be really fun to like do live and share things for you guys. And I just want to post on my social media because I want to connect with other people. She was like, absolutely. And how this is going to help their business, because I also look at it as like, it's free products and it's marketing and it's advertising, but how is it actually going to help my business just in case no one sees what you're posting out there? Are you giving me content that I can use for my stuff? Is this benefiting? Because that sounds bad, but like, is it benefiting you? Because like, I love giving away free stuff to all kinds of charities and stuff. But like when it comes to collaboration, I can't just give away free things for the rest of my life. I would never be in business. So engagement and having like a good indicator, I guess it'd be different if you're like a networking event and like you can't follow them right then and there, but just say, hey, I follow your brand and I love everything. Or at least like before you go talk to them, look up their brand and look up the last 3 posts. Like, oh my God, I saw your last post, that yellow outfit, or oh my God, your dog is so funny. Have something in there just to show like you actually looked into their brand or what they do or who they are. And then talk about like, I do this. I'd love to do like have you at empowHER and exchange, and you can put some stuff in the swag bags if you're willing to do this. And that way we can promote each other's brands and our clientele can both cross promote each other, and we can build and maybe get a couple people off of it. So I think of those. I know that you said one, but like those two, I think that's hand in hand with each other of making a successful partnership of something.
It's like, what are you bringing to the table? And then what are you requesting?
Yeah.
Are those compatible? Yeah. Are they beneficial to both parties? Are they manageable? Like if you're like, we're going to launch this like year-long program and blah, 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 blah. And it's got 20 bullet points. And it's like, nobody wants to see that in a DM, first of all. Like, and nobody wants to see that as like, it's like sending a dick pic right away. It's like,
It's exactly it. Yeah.
like, calm down,
Yeah.
put your pants back
Yeah.
on, you know, and I
What's
mean
your
that in the
name?
nicest way. Hi, hello, how are you? Like, let's start with that, you
Yeah.
know? And like, and I find myself like I'm surrounded by a lot of different like levels of introvert and extrovert. And my husband is a beautiful example of this. So I wouldn't call him like an introvert. He likes to call himself reserved. He's like,
Okay.
I'm not shy, but I'm reserved. Like I want
Right.
to kind of get the vibe first and then
Yeah.
I'm willing to talk. But we did a lot of work when we moved to Texas together because he's like, I don't understand like what's going on. And this was like the first time in our relationship where I was like, he was the only person I knew. We're going to social gatherings with each other and just each other. And I'm watching how he's engaging with people. And I'm like, bro, you're doing a thing. And he's like, I don't understand why like I'm struggling to make friends. And I'm like, you just word vomit on people for like 45 minutes straight. Never let them get a word in. And I'm like, why would they ever want to talk to you again? Because they never got to say anything.
I
And he's
love
like, I
that.
didn't even know that I do that. And he was like, how do I fix that? And I'm like, ask questions.
Yeah.
Ask them what they like. Ask them what they're into. Ask follow-up questions.
Yeah.
Throw in a story and then ask another question. He was like, "Oh, that's all I have to do?" And then like he was like, "Oh, I tried it. I asked a bunch of questions today." And I'm like, "Amazing."
Yeah.
And he
He's
was
like,
like,
I
"I
got
didn't
6 business
know."
cards. I know these
Yeah,
people.
exactly. And he like built this amazing community like of beat makers and producers and artists in Texas. And
I
I'm
love
just
that.
like, he was like, I would have never did that if I didn't know, if you never told me, you know. But I was like,
Yeah.
also, you were open enough and willing to ask me, like, what can I do better? That was number one. Like, I
Yes.
wouldn't just like out here and tell him, like, you're doing a thing, stop being weird. But
Yeah.
like, he was like, I don't understand what the problem is. Do you see something that I don't see? And I'm like, well, since you
Yeah.
asked, like, I'm going to tell you. And I feel like a lot of people do that at networking things. They're like, me.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, you know,
Yeah.
like what just happened? It was like a whirlwind. And then they walk away and you never even get to tell them your name, you
Exactly.
know, like,
Yeah.
give me your business card.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Hi,
My name's Demiree, by the way.
I'm
You probably won't,
Amanda.
if I give you
Goodbye.
my card, you probably won't even know how to pronounce my name. So I thought I'd just let
Yeah.
you know what it is.
Like, okay, bye. So I feel like it's, but it's also the willingness to be open to like, why are these like outreach DMs not working?
Yeah.
Or why is networking not working for me? Or why is it whenever I go to an event, I get this result, you
Yeah.
know?
I think it could be
And
like you said. I love that you went, like, obviously go with him. You're his partner, and it helps that
yeah,
you're an extrovert and you can ease, like, you're so easy to talk to. It's like the best. I think I have a lot of introverted friends or people who are not business owners. So like I'm used to networking and by
yeah,
myself. But parties, like I have a couple introverted friends like that are like, I can't just walk up to anyone. So in a
right.
networking standpoint or party standpoint, whatever it is, if you're having trouble, bring an extroverted person with you to do exactly what you just said and be like,
Yeah,
okay, what am I doing? And then because I'll sit there and be like, let me see what you got. Let me see it. And
yeah, go
like
for it.
easily help them, like catch them doing the things that they're doing to help them. But
Mhm.
it is hard, a little harder, because again, we have people all the time, I'm sure, even reach out to you like, how do you just like do this? And I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm an extrovert. Not everyone's going to be like me, and I have to
right.
understand that, and that's totally fine. But
Yeah,
I think that I love that you went with him, and you're like, you did great. However, this is to be worked on. And then he's like, okay,
yeah,
so went on his own. It's like a coaching call. It's like
yeah.
you have had this success. So it's the same thing with like
Right.
people who are not in business or whatever it is, introverts. Do the same thing. Have your extroverted friends, or if you're reaching out to brands via DM with messages and you're not getting any responses back, reach out to somebody that you know is or is good with like sliding in there and be like,
Yeah,
screenshot and be like, hey, what do you think of this message? If I sent this to you,
right.
I would have been like, I would have never said that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yep,
So
yep,
improve for you. If you're not getting
yes.
the return you want, like what are you not seeing that other people are seeing? So get a different perspective, I think, is huge, because
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be great.
Ask for help. And I feel like
Exactly.
those like Breezy will do the same thing. He'll be like, "What do you think of this message?" And it's always like a big block of text. And I was like, "How about you just start with, 'Hey, how's it going? Are you available to chat?'"
Yeah.
And that's it, you know? And just take all the detail out until they're ready, it's consensual versus unconsensual. Like, you know, like we're having a dance, we're dancing with each other, and I'm not asking you just like come up on me,
Yeah.
you know, like in the
Come up on
DMs
me.
or in person, you know, it's like
I love it.
that's how it feels. That's how it
Yeah.
feels when people are like in your face, here's
Yeah.
my pitch, blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah. Like I hate the elevator pitch
Yeah.
concept. Like I'm not for it because I'm like, it never happens like that. It's never gonna be like, hi, my name is and this is what and no, it doesn't. That's not
It can
how
also
social
get like, it can get awkward too, because if you, let's say, for example, like we've never met each other and I was just sliding into your DMs and I'm like, give you the elevator pitch and you open it and you're like, I'm not interested in this. I mean, for the most part, I'm sure you'd be like, hey, Dan, thanks for the intro. Like, not interested. For the people that don't do that to you, let's say we see each other, another thing. Now it sets this like awkward tension because I know you saw it and I'm like, okay, she knows what I'm going to talk about, versus like, hey, do you have time to chat? And they ignore that. They're more than likely still going to walk up to you and talk to you because they're going to be like, I don't really know what they were going to talk to me about, but I'm interested. You know what I mean? So, and especially because like, I know for me, a lot of times if people like message me, they're like, hey, do you have time to chat? I immediately think it's going to be like an MLM kind of situation. Like, hey girl, I got the best skincare for you. And I'm like, oh no, I don't have time for that. So even if you're like, hey, do you have time to chat? I have a really cool idea that I think you would like to collaborate on. Because then it's like,
there's some context.
Now I'm interested.
Yeah.
What is it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
So make it intriguing.
Yeah, exactly. So it just depends.
I love that. I love it. And it does come with research, time, energy, all of that stuff. I see we're a little frozen, but can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay. I think it'll fix itself.
Cool.
But, you know, see, this is why, I mean, every single time there's like one little small thing, but we get 1% better every single time we record.
Exactly.
So it'll be good. Exactly. So, okay. So first of all, I really want to say I'm so excited to MC empowHER because the second you made that post and the first time, the day you made the post and the next day when I went outside, I had like 5 people tell me like, oh my gosh, you're going to MC empowHER. I'm going to be there. I can't wait. Or I'm so interested.
Oh, I love that.
And like,
I'm so excited.
I love what you're building. I love the hype. For those of us that are event hosts, because I feel like I got a lot of event host friends, how do you build the hype around your events like you're doing? Because the buzz is like there.
Again, I think just including as many people as you possibly can for your event, or just really like talking about it. Like, again, like I know it sounds so like, just talk about it, but like, I could just sit here and not talk about it or just do word of mouth the whole time, but like it's getting shared. People are visually seeing it. I'm putting everything out there that I want the event to represent. Like, it's pink, it's orange, it's disco balls, it's glitter, it's purple, it's all the things. Like, it's girly Barbie Coachella Beyonce-ville. Like, so when I make my digital graphics, I try to let it represent that, or like the vibe that we're going to be having there, because there's so many things that are like black and white wording, and I'm like, what does this entail? Can I swear here? Can I wear something risky? Is this business cash? Like, what's the vibe? So I'm just like, when I'm talking about it, I'm really portraying what is going to be at this event so people can get an idea. So when they walk in, they are not surprised. And then, just like I said, including a lot of people that really match the event. Like, it's a no-brainer that we wanted you to MC the event. I'm like, she fits right in. This is going to be perfect. Like, having people that align with you and bringing the same type of clientele to this event is really what's going to make it successful and have the buzz going, because you have a bunch of positive people that are hyped up about an event. Like, people are going to be like, what am I missing out on? Because people attract people, and the FOMO is real. They're like, so many people last year were like, oh my God, I'm so upset I didn't know about this event. I had this one lady that was like, I cannot believe you wouldn't, market. I'm like, market this, girlfriend. We've been marketing it for a year. I'm sorry, you just found us. Like,
that's not my fault.
People were just mad that, like, but you'll get those people that will miss out on your event, and that honestly is a good feeling. Like, it's like they weren't like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't go to that. Oof.
I can't believe I didn't go. Yeah, exactly. I'm coming next year.
Yeah,
it's on my calendar.
when is the next one? So that's a good feeling. So definitely collaborating. Again, I will go on and on about collaborating, but in putting everybody that you possibly can that can make this event great with you, because not one event is successful, just a one-man team. And then just promoting it and not being afraid to get in front of a camera and being like, you should be here, because it's definitely going to be a great time. I'm not just saying that to hook, line, and sink you. Like, it's a good freaking time. Like, I'm so excited for it. So
I can't wait. It's going to be so good. Oh, yay. Okay. We are already like almost over. So before we get, my husband's sneaking by, before we get to, and he wasn't doing it slick either. He was like,
I love that. Just a casual tiptoe.
He's laughing. Sorry. Okay. So I'm curious, what advice do you have for event hosts specifically on how to, like, other than the marketing piece, like, how do you run a successful collaboration event? Like, how do you keep all the heads and ducks in a row and make sure that it goes off without a hitch?
That's a good one. I mean, I like to time manage a lot. Like, I like to plan. I'm a very big planner. Not everyone's going to be a planner. So as far as keeping the ducks in a row, I love to have an outline way far in advance. So when I come up to the opportunity or certain situations, I'm not like, oh crap. And no matter what event you do, there's still always going to be those oh shit moments, even day of where like the microphone doesn't work or something so something is going to go wrong. So just know that one, plan it. And even if you have something that comes up unplanned, it's normal, and just roll with the punches, because like to freak out and make it this whole deal versus like, hey guys, sorry, your microphone's out, but I'm going to scream and just make the best of it. I think that's going to be the best, because like you could just make it the worst, but nothing's going to change. So you might as well just like enjoy it and have a good time. But I would really plan and have a good layout of everything and try to think of every situation, talk to other people about like, we're going to do this, this, and this. What do you think about this day? And someone will be like, well, what are you having for lunch? Be like, oh my God, I didn't even think about that. So I don't know, maybe talk to other people, get perspectives of what they would like to see, make sure you plan for certain things. But if things do come up, just know that that's normal, and just to like have fun with it and not take it so seriously. So
I love that. It gets very serious behind the curtain at a lot of events, you know, and it's like, you know, obviously people want to do really, really well, and everybody handles stress differently. But I do love the event planner that can handle stress with ease and with laughter, because it just makes everybody feel comfortable, and like comfort comes from the top down. So if the event planner is like losing their shit, then everybody's gonna be losing their shit.
If I'm like again, the microphone's out and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like running around. Everyone's like, she was running around and the microphone out. It was really bad.
Oh my God, what are we gonna do?
Hey guys, you're gonna be like,
no microphone. Exactly. Have you always been like that, or like as when it comes to events and just doing them with ease? Has this been like just part of your MO?
Yeah, I've always been like the party person, like having huge parties for birthdays, and like everything needs to be an event or like a themed thing. Like, I like to celebrate everything. I really do. I'm the extra friend that people are like, we don't need to like get excited because she passed her test. I'm like, yes, we do. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
It's a party.
Yeah, it's a party. And we're making it themed. Everyone wears white, and we're gonna pour champagne all over.
Yes.
So I've really always liked events. Like, I just think that there's always a reason to celebrate. And when you're celebrating things, it makes life obviously so much more fun, but it makes the little wins even more fun, because you're getting to enjoy every single thing to whatever your destination of your goal is. So instead of just like grind, it's like, we got here, we're going to celebrate. We're here. It just makes it so much more fun and to make memories. And everyone loves the picture moment. So
I know. And I love the little celebrations. It's what makes every day and the mundane so special. And I've talked about this before, but like with my team, we do like magical morning meetings, and we're always talking about like, what are you grateful for? What is making you happy right now? And like, our job could be boring. Like in reality, like if we have a slow day, you could just be sitting there twiddling your thumbs, like, well, but like my team loves coming to work. Like literally one of my team members, she's always like, I love it here. I'd rather be here than at home. I want to be here all the time. She's literally there early. She stays late. She hangs out on the weekends because she likes the environment that we've created for her, and she thrives in it. And it's that little, like, it's those little moments that are so big, you know, where it's like, just catering to that person or making those little moments special. And then the big moments are even better because you're like, look what we did. And you've been celebrating the whole way. I love it.
Exactly. And then
Okay.
just gonna look back on.
Exactly. So, what is the last piece of advice that you have for the people watching? It could be about anything.
I've actually been talking about this a lot with people is just be genuinely yourself. This is just like a message. Like, I want everyone to just genuinely be themselves, because when you're not being yourselves, you're making disingenuine connections with people that aren't aligning with who you are. And I feel like a lot of our lives we do that with people of being somebody that we're not, or molding ourselves into people that people will like. And we end up growing up in this like world of people and connections that aren't really genuine or are serving you, because you just spent your whole life trying to people please and make other people happy. But if you just break the mold and are genuinely yourself, you're going to attract people that are like you with the same energy and outlook on life. And it just makes your life so much better, because I've been running into a lot of people that are just not living their best life. And I'm like talking to them, and how they are to me is not how they're perceiving themselves on Instagram or not. And I'm like, where's this person? Because and I think now more than ever, like with social media and everything going on, I think it's a topic that needs to be talked about more, that it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to leave situations that don't serve you. It's okay to step away from things and just do what's best for you. And as much as that sounds selfish to a lot of people, it's going to not be selfish in the long run, because you're creating a genuine life for yourself and for other people around you, versus having this like fake life that just like doesn't serve you or other people because you're not fully like there. So
I love it.
I hope everyone's true to themselves.
I love it. I say it all the time. Selfishness is the first step to selflessness.
Yeah, that is.
You got to pour in. You got to lean in. You got to do what feels right. And the right people will come. The right opportunities will come. The luck will come that makes the most sense. That's where luck comes from. It's like the genuine output. Then the genuine input comes. And it feels lucky because you're like, this is in alignment.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love you so much. This is so much fun.
Yes,
I can't wait. I would love that. We should do that. You live right next to Bamboo, so just come.
I know. I'm just gonna stop in and just be like, hey guys, what's up?
Literally, and I'll be like, hi. Here's your seat. It's right there. Literally. Okay. So tell everybody where you can find all of the things.
The best thing is just my personal Instagram, because I have my link tree to every single thing that I do. So my Instagram is Demiree Suan. It's literally my name right here, at Demiree Suan. And I don't know where I'm at on the screen, but for right here, my things are right here. It's Demiree Suan. It's that little pink bubble. And then on there, it shows you my Instagram or my boutique, my podcast, and empowHER. There's also a link tree on there to like email me or connect in any other way. So that's like the best way.
I love it. And if you're going to empowHER, you should use code Amanda for a discount on your ticket. And I'll be there. And we'll be there. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the slumber party part.
I know.
I've never gone to anything like, I'm like, I like this idea. This is beautiful.
Yep. It's going to be fun with a big old PJ party. Everyone thinks it's an overnight experience. You're like, are we all just like sleeping in slumber, like sleeping bags? I'm like, no, it's like a PJ party from 6 to 9. And then the conference is the next day.
I love it. I can't wait. Okay, Demiree, you're amazing. I appreciate, adore, and am so grateful for you. Thank you so much for coming and waking up bright and early for us.
Oh my God, of course. Thank you for having me.
My heart, spirit animal. All right. Thank you guys all so much. This is the Let's Glow Show. We come back every Wednesday. My name is Amanda Sweet, the Creative Fairy Godmother, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, guys.